Lost, if you want to introduce yourself, and
Let's
then
go!
Mikey, if you want to go up next. Yo, Janice, what? Thank you for the follow.
Yo, what's up, guys? I am Lost X, the governor of the Mamooks. I've been on Eden since I think like day 3. We transferred on over from Orofina.
All right, Mikey, you want to go up next?
Sure. I'm Mikey B. I'm the leader of Pastrami. Transferred to Eden roughly about like 3-4 weeks ago, and I've been building our roster ever since.
Yeah, cool stuff. So, and, you know, interesting things coming out. It's awesome to hear from you guys because, you know, kind of seeing tonight's wars, it does kind of make a, you know, at least in Eden, it does kind of pose a big question of what's going on over there. And I think that, you know, even from what I read in chat and even being involved in the community as I am, you know, it's hard to be as involved with the servers as much as you guys are. You know what I mean? You guys are realistically the pillars of the servers and stuff like that. You know, you guys being part of the big companies and people trying to make moves. So first off, we'll start out with Lost. Lost, congrats again on your dub. It was a quick dub, but congrats to the Mamooks again. You know, appearing to just continue to go unjuked. But I do want to say before we get into that war or anything, I do just want to say, you know, how's Mamooks feel on the server? You know, how's your guys' time been? Because you know, I obviously shoutcasted your guys' stuff and saw your transition from when you first got there. But how's Mamooks now? How's it going?
Yeah, man, I think we were definitely preparing for that patch that never came, where it was 35 defense only.
Yeah,
and
everybody
so
was.
yeah, like, you know, we were kind of settling. We weren't doing a bunch of attack wars. We were focusing on our in-house roster, and it got to a place where I'm super happy with. My guys and gals have been putting in tons of work to just improve. And so yeah, I think that's what we were waiting for, and it's a big bummer that that never came. So now I think you end up with the server in a really weird state.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing that in multiple other servers as well. Like, I don't think it's just Eden. But to kind of piggyback off of that, you know, we have seen, you know, Mamooks being a strong force in the Covenant area, and Mikey, you know, you are leading a bit of a resistance, kind of from what I'm hearing in the Pastrami squad. Why don't you go ahead and kind of dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, like respectfully, right? I can't say that the Mamooks haven't been juked because we did juke them in Monarch's Bluff to hold it. But just kidding, man. But we
Hey,
are
look.
we're the same like them, right? Like we build up our roster. You know, some drama happened with that, but at the end of the day, we're about 47 active roster strong, continuing to grow. We're trying to do the same thing. Us versus Mamooks is actually gonna kind of become like a good rivalry going, and that's what we hope. And then eventually, you know, declaring on them soon, and then seeing if we could take it to them offensively. And then after that, we set our targets on Mastas.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up because and you bring up Masters because that was going to be my next, you know, kind of the next conversation here. Or you know, Eden in general, it seems to be that Mamooks and Masters kind of coming out as being some of the, you know, kind of the top competition, and they both so happen to be on the Covenant faction. Now, whether that's planned or not, you know, it's kind of interesting to see. You know what I mean? It's interesting to see as the other factions, as the other faction members is kind of, you know, it's kind of rough, you know, and kind of wants me to ask you guys what's happening with Marauders. Like I see it in the chat, but I want your guys' opinion. What is happening with Marauders on Eden?
You want to go first or me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I think that was just kind of bleed over from just how the server switched, right? The server switched and it was originally purple. I think the entire map was
Yeah, it was
purple on Switch. And I don't know. We switched over from purple and said, you know, we'll go yellow and we'll just have fun here and just get better, right? Super bummed that Strict left just because what they did wasn't good, but they had some really good players to really grind your you know, to get better, to improve and see
Yeah.
what you did.
It was a skill ceiling, you know. It's like having that
for
ceiling,
sure.
having that ceiling that people don't know is actually really important in what, like when you're warring.
Yeah, and it's like we could see that we were getting better in wars against them, and that was just really fun to see. And I think that just bleed over of it being purple dominated really stopped people from transferring over. And then just no big green companies came, right? I think they had a couple of people that tried to restart old companies from what I saw, and then they just got strict, right? Like strict just said no, you don't get a territory, and defended everything. And I mean that's not on strict. I think that just killed the faction as a whole, right?
Yeah, and I didn't know, like even in the beginning there was one company that stood out to me. I believe it was like the last Emerald or something like that, and that was a person. You know, they weren't.
Throwing, yeah.
Yeah, like they actually did come out pretty decent, but apparently fizzled out as well, and it's kind of looks like Marauders are just in a rough spot. Marauders are just.
They're still here. They just go by the name of Throwing now.
Oh, really? Okay. See, and this is
Yeah.
why I like chatting with you guys. You know what I mean? Like getting to know a little bit more. And so like, how's that going? You know, like, are we kind of hoping for kind of new Marauder blood to come into the server to kind of make it a 3-faction thing? So somebody's in the
definitely
chat
need some
saying
help,
Throwing
yeah.
left yesterday. I don't know how true that is. Oh my
That might
god.
be true. That might be true. Then
Boys.
if Throwing left, then yeah, that's Rip Marauders here with what's in house. But yeah, maybe there is a green company that could come in and provide some stability.
Oh no, man. Yeah, that
Yeah, I
gets me
mean,
here
just a little,
first.
a little PSA. I think they got rid of the server set, so any green companies that want to come on over. We welcome. We'll help with each other. I'm sure Pastrami will help you guys take out Mamooks and Masters, and we will help you guys against Pastrami.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome too. Like that's you know, and that's kind of why like people were throwing up in the chat like, oh, we should talk a little bit to you guys. And I think that's, you know, it's awesome because you guys are over there in Eden. You know, we see a lot of servers opening up, but at least, you know, like it's a good look, right? You know, at the end of the day, you want to have fun as companies. You know, you want to have good wars. You don't want to kind of be in that like autofill war state. Like nobody likes that. So yeah, if you guys are hearing it here first, guys. If you guys want to get on Eden, you know, if you're a green company looking for a place to maybe get some, you know, some slightly competitive wars and kind of work with people, you guys are hearing it. But it's really interesting. And Mikey, I know Pastrami, you guys have been doing good. You guys have been doing good, kind of starting to build up. And I'm only about a week or two into casting a little bit of Pastrami, but I got a lot of people in the stream that actually are a part of the Pastrami squad as well. So it's cool to see that you've been kind of grinding, trying to get a whole company going against it. And what would I will say though, one thing I want to ask you, Lost, is how does it feel with Masters being on your same faction? I always know that's super weird. Like we had the Copium and Supple being on the same faction, and that was kind of weird for a server. How does it feel with Masters and Mamooks kind of being on that same faction?
Yeah, I mean, originally, I think we have a good relationship because we're not murking heavy with each other, right? I think we're
getting
Masters
subs
using
out
like
here.
5
Let's
to 8 of us.
go.
We're using 5 to 8 of Masters to trying to keep it as fair as possible. We're not making super rosters or anything like that. So I respect that, but it does feel bad. Like this attack for Brimstone, part of me was like, well, damn, that's a lot of yellow on a map, right? But at the same time, we have to have our fun and give our guys content. You know, it's like that double-edged sword of how much do we value server health compared to company, and it sucks being in that situation because you know you don't feel that like if Masters and Mamooks teamed up, it feels like we could just not lose if we went super sweaty.
Mm-hmm. And also it's Brimstone. Yeah, you know, like I feel
Right,
like,
yeah.
you know, it's Brimstone. You know, it's like you kind of want to, you know, you kind of want to have that like Brimstone action. You know, like it's like everybody. I would be foaming at the mouth. You know, to like get a war down there. It'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, Mikey, I do want to ask. I know it sounds like you kind of were targeting, saying that next is Mamooks. You know, you guys did say you said you beat him on defense. So what's the next move for
Let's
Pastrami?
go!
We're actually running up Brightwood right now to start a fight with them for Brightwood. Cat's out the bag, right? So let me check the map. 64% influence because this game is so much fun and running this content.
You
Now
want
that
to
I'm
go
putting
flip
it-
that fort for you,
you
Mike?
can be here and hang
No,
out.
you're
You know,
good,
look, we
Well,
can
that's
chat a
all
little
he
bit
was gonna
sooner.
show up and try to slow us down, but that's all right. So
You know,
You gotta get the
Mikey, I'll
faction
go-
missions.
I'll go flip that fort for you to help speed it up.
if only the fort mission was still a thing, you know?
Yeah, look, just the cross faction friendliness, you know.
Yeah. So we're that's our plan, right? We're gonna try to take it to the Mooks. But like I said, we actually appreciate the Mook style play, trying to build up internally. They did play us with I think you had like 46 or something like that in your offensive war
Yeah,
against
mhm.
us, and we had
Yeah.
48 for us as well. So all in all, I think both companies are getting to the point where we're at a pretty good spot, and hopefully that competition continues, and obviously hopefully for me, right, we continue to grow. We beat the Mamooks and they could fight the masses, right? So,
Hey, look, hey, shout out Pastrami. You're a syndicate, right?
Yeah.
Hey, look, shout out Pastrami over there on Eden, guys. Syndicate players. You know, look, they're trying to lead a resistance, trying to fight against some yellows, trying to fight against the yellow bellies, the Mamooks, and the Masters Pride squad. But it's cool to hear that you guys are in the rotation. You guys are getting it moved. You know, you're not backing down. You're stepping up to the challenge, and that was kind of one thing I said at the start of my stream was, I don't know about you guys. How long have you guys been playing? Lost Mikey. How long have you guys been playing New World?
I personally, I think like 3 months after release. But I took a break after Ego diffed the fuck out of Orifina. For about like like a month and a half or so, and then I'm just coming back, and Eden was my first
Hey, I feel
comeback
that.
since.
Lost, what about you, bro?
Yeah, I think I was 2 weeks after launch. I was a little bit of a late adopter, but then I had a nice little Tarkov white break where I got to play that. And I thought New World made me upset, but oh geez, Tarkov, man.
It's just
Yeah,
that easy.
dude, Tarkov definitely it definitely gets on to your nerves. But one thing, the reason why I wanted to ask that though was because it's something that I brought up at the very first part of the war today on my stream was I want to see companies with a little bit more competitive drive. You know what I mean? Like I don't know about you guys, but like obviously you guys got it. You know, like you guys have that like I'm fighting. You know, we want to have good wars. We're trying to build a good company, and it's like it just feels like sometimes it feels like people are so easily kind of quick to just be like, oh, I can't war, and they're not recruiting, and you know, it's like, what do you guys feel about that? How is that in Eden?
So, I mean,
We get them
that's something
subs
I've
out
always
here. Let's
done. By no
go.
means am I the best shot caller or war strategist there is, but in any company that is, I see them pushing, regardless of what side they are, I always tell them, hey, I'll help you with roster. I'll give you spreadsheets of like the comps we run and why we do it. And, you know, they'll do a war, they get farmed, and they never take the advice. It is crazy the amount of cope people do for
Yeah.
not putting in the work. And we we don't put in work as much as others, but I mean, we try, right?
Of course,
And I think
yeah.
you nailed it on the head. Is people just aren't trying, and they view it like other MMOs where there's like an end game, right? Like you can go raid, and that's your end game content. And they view wars as like this is what we get to do because that's end game. And I think it's very different when you start having more PvP focused companies because no one gets to have fun, the attack or defense, and it's just like oh minus 30 minutes.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah,
I think
sorry, Mike, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I think a lot of it is also comes down to a plan, right? Like everybody assumes that like you just take them to war, you make the strat, and like that's it. Like you got to have a plan for how you're gonna run territory, what you're gonna do once you run it up, right? Like can you coordinate with other companies to run territory up in multiple different zones? It's like that level of like lack of preparation from start to finish that actually kind of frustrates people when it doesn't come to fruition, right? They just assume get them in conflict, build the best 50 roster, and everything else just happens, right? But like
Yeah.
it takes a lot to do this.
That's fantastic, dude. Like literally, you are hitting it on the head. I agree 100% to that. I feel like one thing I learned fast, you know, I learned fast. I've been playing since release. You know, one thing I learned fast was wars are not easy. They're not going to be won by just charging in. You know what I mean? Like it's like the wars that I lost. I was like, damn. I was like, man, what's our caller doing? Like he's not saying anything. Like he's just like go to the point. You know what I mean? Like you need like, you know, from the start of getting that deck, you need to be thinking about everything. You know, if you really want to have a good war. And it's like I do agree. I feel like, you know, it kind of scares away new players. New players are kind of timid. They're kind of scared. And whenever they get to that point, like you guys were saying, you know, they feel like, oh, we got the best 50 stack on the server. We're going to win. And then it's just like, no, like you need to have some good calls. You need to have coordination. You need to have group play. Like it's rough, but it just disheartens me. Maybe it's because I'm kind of like a vet at this point in New World. I know, hell, you guys are too. But it's like, you know, it disheartens me to not see that kind of like drive as much, you know? Like I just felt like I had a lot more drive at the start. Maybe it was more towards the start, but even in between, like I love seeing those plays with that passion. But obviously, at the end of the day, look, we do have companies with passion, and you guys are some of that. You know, some of those companies. I mean, Mamooks, I've been catching you forever. Lost, nice to chat with you. And Mikey, look, a little new blood with Pastrami, but it's really cool to see you guys starting to get on the glow up. You know, it's really cool. I'm here for it. You know what I mean? But aside from that, it is cool to talk to you guys a little bit about Eden and a little bit about kind of what's going on on over there. I guess really I'm just going to kind of ask you guys, is there anything as, from the Eden perspective, maybe whether it be factions or anything you guys want to discuss about?
Yeah, I mean, I am excited that Eden's unlocked. I think the lock on Eden also really forced the server in this weird state as it was getting steam and people were coming over, they locked it. And then the super server took a lot of I think the problem that a lot of people are facing is you just get these alts, right? Fighting.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is my third war and I'm fighting an alt of 500 plus war winners, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that also makes it really hard to enter for a company. But as of right now, Eden is pretty alt free. It is, I mean, the competition I think is good for if you're our upcoming PvP company or mid PvP company. I think if you're top tier, you can make huge impacts in Eden as well. But I think it's a good place to learn and also still be challenged. So I
sure.
encourage people or companies to come. I'm free in DMs if you just want to talk, and I can show you wars or whatever you need. But I do want that competition, and I want my guys to get better.
Facts, and that's from Lost X from the Mamooks. Mikey, anything you'd like to talk about?
I mean, he nailed it on the head, really. So just applying the same conversation to purple, I think there's a lot of purple that have some really good players that we just work together, be a little bit stronger, do things a little bit faster, and hopefully now that these guys own Brightwood and Brim under the same company, right, they can run it up and double deck and force Mamooks to change or pick a territory to defend, right? Put a little bit more purple back on the map, but I mean that's part of the game, right? So I hope these guys continue to work together and figure out what they want to do, and I'm just going to continue to build my roster internally and strive for that 50 man moving forward.
Hey, keep killing it, Mikey. And Lost X again, shout out to Mamooks for catching a dub tonight. Relatively quick, but really cool. And again, guys, Lost X representing the Mamooks here on Eden. And we have Mikey B representing Pastrami over here on Eden as well. Shout out, and guys, again, if you guys are looking for anywhere to go on Eden, Lost X, contact him. Look, he's going to be representing Covenant. Mikey Pastrami representing Syndicate. Again, guys, thank you guys so much for being here. It is much appreciated. I'll chat with you guys later. Nice meeting you guys.
Yeah, man. Oh, fun fact real quick, Willie. Did you know that if you go into Brimstone Sands War and you didn't do the quest, it kills you over and over and over?
I didn't know that, but you might have to tell MJB.
Yeah, no, Take the El Bozo learned that as well.
Yeah, we saw that on stream earlier today. But look, El Bozo. Oh yeah, that's Lakrita. Look, yeah. You got to get good, Lakrita. You know how it goes. Lakrita got juked. The only Mamook, mark it down. The only Mamook to get juked lost.
Yes, Lakrita. It's official. The Mamooks have been juked by their own.
It be your own people.
It's too, man. It's too.
Yeah, I'll chat with you later, Lost.
All right,
yeah,
man,
you have a good night, bro.
You too.
Love to see it, dude. Hey, shout out to Lost, shout out to Mikey. What a bunch of awesome dudes. Also, Lakrita, I'm playing with you. Also, though, thank you guys. I know Jarice, thank you for the 5 bomb, and anybody else who followed during that interview. Thank you guys so much. It's appreciated.